Welcome to my channel. Today we are back with another crochet tutorial. My name is Jesslyn and crocheting is one of my hobbies. Today I'm going to be making this mini coffee cup. They are super beginner friendly and quick to make. You can choose to hang it on your bags or just as a desk decor. As always, I have included timestamps in the description below. Let's get to it. For the crochet project, you will need to prepare 2 colors of yarn. I'm using white for the cup and brown for the coffee. You will also need your edges. I'm using the 3.0mm hook as the usual, so your stitch markers, yarn needle and yarn snip. I've also prepared some stuffings to give it its shape and a glue gun. Let's do a quick run through of how we are going to be crocheting this. We'll first start with the cup itself. I will show you how to crochet the coffee saucer, coffee handle, and then the coffee cup. And after all that is done, then I will show you how to put them all together. Before I crochet the coffee itself, I'll be demonstrating 2 methods. Method 1 will be me continuing crocheting from the coffee cup, which will look like this. And method 2, where we'll crochet the coffee separately and glue it on, which will look like this. Both methods gives different finishing look, so choose the one that you prefer. Alright, let's start with the coffee saucer first. I'm using the white yarn. We're going to pull out some and start with a magic ring first. So go over your pinky and then go 2 rounds. Use your hook and hook the yarn through. So this will form the magic ring. Once that is done, do 6 single crochet. So 1, 2, and once that is done, you pull out a little, and now we're going to tighten the magic ring. You pull the end and see which string is moving. Okay, so just pull a little bit. You can see that the second string is moving, and what we're going to do is to pull the other side. Tighten one of the string first, and then pull the long tail to tighten the entire magic ring. Alright, so put the hook back in, and we're going to slip stitch to close off the row. Let's start with the second row. We are going to do a chain first, followed by 6 increases. So basically in one stitch, we will have to do 2 single crochet. Okay, remember to put stitch marker in so you know where is the first and the last stitch. Instead of third row, we're going to do a chain again, followed by a single crochet. Remember to put your stitch marker back, and in the next stitch, we're going to do an increase. Alright, so we're going to continue this pattern for a total of 6 times and end the row off with a slip stitch. For the next row, we're going to start with a chain first, followed by a single crochet. Remember to put back the stitch marker. In the next stitch, we're going to do an increase. Followed by a single crochet. So we're going to repeat this pattern, which is single crochet, increase, single crochet for 5 more times. And once you reach the blue stitch marker, you're going to do a slip stitch to end off the row. For the 5th row, we're gonna start with a chain followed by 3 single crochet. So 1, put back the stitch marker, do 2 more, so 2 and 3. In the 4th stitch, we're gonna do an increase. Alright, so continue this pattern for 5 more times. Alright, so to close off the last row, I'm gonna show you how to do this manual crochet method so we can have a nice finishing. Alright, so cut off the long tail and then pull out the entire yarn. Alright, what you want to do is to take your yarn needle and thread the yarn through. And then what we're going to do is to sew through both the loops from the first stitch where the stitch marker is. If the stitch marker is getting in the way, just take it out. You're going to sew through both. Okay? Then go back to your last stitch and we're only going to sew through the back loop. Alright, so now what we're going to do with all this excess yarn, what we want to do is to sew through and hide it so that the yarn can go through the middle of the saucer. Okay, so we just sew through some of the stitches to hide the yarn. Make sure that from the front you can't see your yarn needle. Okay, just stitch it through, and what we want is so that it can go through the middle of the saucer, and then you just sew through the middle like this. Okay, and then just leave it. I will show you what to do with it later. Next, we're going to do the cup handle. This part is super simple. All you have to do is 6 chains. Alright, now for the coffee cup, for the first 3 rows, they're exactly the same as how you do the coffee saucer, so we're just gonna repeat that. Alright, for the 4th row, this is where things starts to change. We're not going to be doing any increases or decreases. We're simply going to be working on the back loop. So to start the row, do a chain first and then do a single crochet on the back loop only. So you want to pick the back loop of each stitch and do a single crochet. So back loop only, and then once you reach the last stitch, all you have to do is slip stitch to end off the row. So after row 4, for row 5 to 7, this is basically the height of the cup. So you can make as many rows as you want. I'm only going to be doing 3 rows, and all of them are 18 single crochet. To start off the row, you just need to do a chain, and then just do the entire 18 single crochet and end off the row with a slip stitch. Once you reach the 7th row, we are not going to do a slip stitch. We want that nice finishing look like we did with the saucer. So what we're going to do is to do the manual stitch method again. Just cut off the yarn, pull out the entire yarn. Use your yarn needle and thread the yarn through. Okay, then find the first stitch of that row and thread through both the loops. You can take out the stitch marker here, thread through both the loops, and then find back your last stitch and thread through only the back loop. Okay, so what we're gonna do with all this excess yarn, we're gonna hide them inside the cup. So you can flip the cup around so that it's easier for you. Look for some stitch and just stitch through it. We're not gonna cut off the excess yarn, we're gonna leave it. I will show you what we're gonna do with it later on. Now let's put all the parts together so it looks like a cup. So step 1, we are gonna attach the coffee handle onto the cup. We're gonna attach it between row 4 and 6 of the cup. So you just have to count from the bottom of the cup and take note of where is row 4 and 6. And I like to do it at the side where it's not very pretty so we can sort of like hide it. Okay, so just use the yarn needle and thread through one end of the coffee handle, and then look for row 4 and 6. Just pick one of it and sew it through. Then you take out the yarn needle and do the same for the other side. And sew it through. Take out the yarn needle, you will see that there's a curve ready, the handle is out, and then you know what to do with all this long tail. We are going to do a double knot inside the coffee cup. Okay, so just take both ends, do a double knot. So this is the first one. Do another one. If you want to make it extra secure, you can use the extra long tail for the coffee cup and double knot with one of the handle. Okay, which is what I'm doing right now. Okay, and then you just put it to the side and we are going to do the next step. So step 2, we are going to attach the saucer to the cup. Remember, we have a long tail. So what we're going to do is to use the yarn needle also, thread the yarn through. And we're going to sew it from the bottom of the cup into the cup. Okay, so to secure this, guess what we're going to do again? We're going to do a double knot. Okay, so just take any of the long tail yarns that you have there and do a double knot. Okay, once that is done, then we can start to cut the yarns because they're all super long right now. So just use the yarn snip and snip it off. And then all those yarn, we're just gonna hide it in the cup. Okay, to make it extra secure, step 3, you're gonna use the glue gun and glue a little at the bottom of the cup and glue to the saucer. We don't want the thing to be flimsy, so just glue it on to make it extra secure. Glue it for 3 seconds so it sticks on well, and then glue the other side. And then hold it for 3 seconds. If you like the finishing for method 1, this is what we are gonna do. We are gonna crochet the coffee directly on the. So where we want to start off is near the handle of the cup, so everything is aligned. And for the first row, we are only gonna work on the back loop. So take the milk cotton yarn, just take the color of the choice. I'm using a dark brown. Go through the back loop and do a chain, and then we're gonna start doing single crochet. So there will be no increase or decrease, you just have to work on the back loop of the cup and just do 18 single crochet and close off the row with a slip stitch. For row 2, this is where you'll start to do decreases. You're going to start off with a chain followed by a single crochet. Put back your stitch marker. In the next one, do a decrease. And you're going to continue this for 5 more times and end the row off with a slip stitch. For the third row, we are going to start off with a chain followed by 6 decreases. Also end off the row with a slip stitch. Once you're done, cut off the yarn, leave long tail for sewing and pull the whole yarn out. So now you can still see that there is a little hole inside. What we want to do is to put in some stuffing so that we can get our ideal shape. So this hole is actually too small for my finger, so a small trick I like to use here is to use the back of the yarn needle and slowly push the stuffings in. Okay, once you're satisfied with the shape, then we're going to close off the row. Thread the yarn through the yarn needle. And then look for the front loop of the third row and sew through all of them. There should be 6 in total. Once you're done that, just give a tight pull and we're gonna hide all this excess yarn. What I like to do is to go through the coffee and go out from another side. Cut off the yarn and you see all this long tail, just use the back of the yarn needle to push it. So all the hiding of the yarns are done inside the coffee cup. If you like the finishing for method 2, this one is super easy. You're basically going to be doing a circle. The crochet pattern is exactly the same as how you do the first 3 rows of the coffee saucer and the coffee cup. once you finish the third row, we are going to do the manual crochet stitch method. You should already know how to do this by now. Cut off the yarn, thread the yarn through the yarn needle, and we're just gonna crochet it manually. Alright, go through both the loops from the first stitch, take out the stitch marker, pull through, and then go to the last stitch and thread through only the back loop. And what do you do with all this yarn? We are gonna hide it at the back of the coffee. Now that we have both the coffee and the cup ready, we're just gonna put them together. So the first thing that you will want to do is to put stuffings into the cup so that it can give it its shape. Okay, so just grab some stuffings, put it in. If you have excess yarn, you can use it also. Alright, just use what you have because nobody's gonna see anyways. It's gonna be in a coffee cup. Once you've done that, then we're gonna attach the coffee onto the cup. And how are we gonna do that? We're gonna use the glue gun to glue it on. And that's how you can quickly make a mini coffee keychain. If you want to switch this up, simply change out the colors like using light brown for latte or green for matcha. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to hit that like button below, and if you want more crochet tutorials like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching!